he's never met them before this moment on the hill. Let's start with this first answer because it seems to be the one that's most commonly accepted, the one that I believe for the longest amount of time, and probably has the most evidence supporting it. Though Paul was a character before the Legacy era, he only really made his first appearance in Moving Targets, as a soldier for the generic bad guy army. This is significant because it was also the last episode that Claude was voiced by his original actor. He left at the beginning of the very next episode without even voicing it. So it is entirely possible that after this experience, Claude decided that he wanted to be involved in whatever these guys were up to. Claude presumably met Paul and Patrick, founded the Red Army, built the robot, and then left to do something, and then came back for the robot. The real problem here is explaining why Claude left in the first place without taking the robot with him. If he already had his army together and already had plans for world domination, then why not take the robot with him? To me, the far more likely timeline is option 2. He built the robot before he left and met Paul and Patrick on his travels. In this timeline, Tor's robot was never designed to be a super weapon, but just one of Tor's weird passion projects. It is entirely possible that by the time he drove away, Tor actually had no evil intentions whatsoever. Maybe after his experience in the army, Tor realized that he didn't want to cause pain unto others. He looked at the weapons he's constructed and realized what a monster he was becoming, and decided to make a new life for himself in the big city. Maybe he wanted to go to New York to be a new man, but upon meeting a couple of revolutionaries, he decided that he was not throwing away his shot, so he became their leader. This makes a lot more sense in my head, because it explains what he was doing when he was away from the show, and it gives him time to have built the robot in the first place. With the first timeline, we assume that the robot was constructed sometime between Moving Targets and 25 Feet Under the Sea. We know it was constructed before he left, because the robot is constantly described as something he'd left behind, not something he was working on between the two end episodes. But with this second theory, the robot could have been constructed any time after the first episode, potentially even before the first episode. Tor's been shown to have violent tendencies in some earlier episodes, so is it really such a surprise that he built a giant weapons facility behind a wall in his bedroom? Admittedly, this is a little bit far-fetched, but not quite as far-fetched as the third option, which few people seem to consider, but I actually think is the most interesting of the bunch. This meeting on the hill might just be the first time these characters ever met in person. Now obviously there's a bunch of evidence to the former in terms of Easter eggs and such, but let's just ignore that for a second. According to this timeline, everything Torge does up to this moment was entirely of his own accord. He built the robot on his own, and he planned to dominate the world on his own, without any help from anyone else. And it was this incident which caused him to meet Paul and Patrick and fall down the path to becoming the Red Leader. This actually makes a lot of sense thematically. I could totally buy that Tord thought that he could become an evil dictator without any help at all. After all,
what would I need friends for when I've got this?
Of course, the robot wasn't actually good enough. He was defeated by none other than the group of friends, the ones that he previously shunned. They cared for each other enough, and together, they alone were able to bring down his giant mech suit. Think about how defeated and humiliated Tord would feel in this moment. His entire life's work destroyed in seconds, literally by the power of friendship. He'd built himself from nothing, and now he has nothing to show for it. He has no friends, there's no house, there's no direction, no plan from here on out. But then he meets these two people, two revolutionaries just like him, who want more than they've got. They obviously have a lot of interest in weaponry. They saw the commotion from down below and rushed to see what was going on. And in this moment, Tord realizes that he can't do this alone. He feels accepted. He sees direction.